Hi everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to school. We are starting. Our class has started. We're starting. Today's class is dedicated to my dear friend Miriam Balin. Miriam Bat Yitzchak. May her neshama have an aliyah. Okay, so this class is really dedicated to, we're supposed to be learning Tumor Devorah in this class, right? But I'm not using Tumor Devorah today because I really want to talk about something as a prerequisite a little bit to doing life right, okay? Because, you know, there are a lot of things that we hear, that we learn, that we see, that we watch online, that there's like this ideal of how to do things. Like ideally, it's good to wake up early, go for a run, meditate, drink green juices, do some yoga, pray. Ideally, it's really, really good to. There's an ideal way to take care of our minds, our bodies, our souls. Right? I think that coming to seminary is like a boot camp on how to take care of your soul and how to do the soul work. Because our world is a very physical world and there's not a lot of focus on that. And when we learn that the engine to all of our life is really coming from our soul, because that's our engine, then like to focus on the engine. And when I focus on the engine, then my car will go further, right? And so the whole focus of the world is more on the outside of the car, the interior of the car, the mileage on the car, what's it called? What's the word? My boys are going to be upset at me that I don't have a word for this. All the bells and whistles that the car has to offer, right? Leather seats, warm seats, whether it's electronic or gas or whatever. And what we're, as Jews, are always like our mission in this entire world throughout history has always been to let the world know of the fact that there's an engine, okay? And when you're so busy and caught up with like the exterior or even the interior of what you eat and how you meditate, whatever, but there isn't an understanding that the engine is the most important part of this car. Right? And you can have a really gorgeous car, but if the engine is like, then your car is not going to really help you. It's not going to really get you far in life. Right? People can have a lot of faculties working for them. They can be super talented, super bright. They can have a great body and really good looks. They can have really good potential, like protects a family that has money or a name or, but their engine is lacking. When I say lacking, I mean sick. And the reason I want to talk about this today is because I would say that, in every generation has its affliction. Like your parents' generation has their affliction, my parents' generation has their affliction. Every generation has their affliction. Like my parents, let's say, right? So they don't have an issue with working hard because working hard was how they grew up. Right? No one asked them, is it too hard for you? Are you okay making your own lunch and walking yourself to school and walking back and your parents not home for hours on end and seeing them only in the middle, like at night? No one asked them. It was more of like, that's the reality that everyone lives in. Right? So everybody kind of like my parents' age and a little older, they have an amazing, amazing work ethic. Right? But then talk to them about, their emotional well-being. It's like, what are you talking about? We don't talk about those things. It's stupid. Like, you have to make money, you need to have kids, you need to have a family, and that's where the focus is at, because that's the affliction of their generation. The affliction of their generation was like an over, what's the word I'm looking for? Focus, like a hyper focus on what they have to do, what the most important thing for them is back then. It was to work hard, make money, and make sure you don't go, your family has a place to live, right? And then as we evolved, because that became more of like, there was, after their generation, where that's the main struggle, even though there's a lot of other things going on, right? Like my friends, when we were in high school, kids were like, having major mental issues and major going off the derech issues and major things, and like their parents, a lot of it didn't know how to even approach it because there was no language for emotional well-being and health. So they would be like, so just wear a longer skirt, or like they were talking like they were they were not giving the right advice to the issue at hand. Right? There's like a wound, and instead of dressing the wound, there was almost like if we just kind of like talk at it or yell at it, then it should go away, right? So as we evolve and as we become more educated and we know more things and the world changes, things change. There's a shift. Today, I would say that it's much harder for people to have a work ethic. It's much harder for people to work hard and get dirty and not care and give 8 hours a day, and it's harder. Why? Because the focus has very much shifted to emotional well-being, right? And so anytime, and this is something really, really important, okay? Anytime there is an extremes are never a sign of health. Even if the extreme is creating a lot of good things in the world, okay? Because you have to know, where there's an extreme of one thing, there's always going to be an extreme of the other thing in the same person or in the same ideas. Okay, when there's an extreme in one way, the other extreme is also there. It's also present. Maybe it's not so clear to the eye, but it's there as well. Meaning, if a person is like extremely happy all the time, there should be a question mark there, right? Because the idea is, and that's what we're going to learn today. The idea is that balance is the foundation. It is literally the foundation for all of your well-being. Balance, meaning you can learn that there is an amazing way to live. There is an ideal way to live your life, right? Like we said in the beginning, get up early, work out, meditate, eat healthy. There's an ideal way of living your life. Look at all the books around us. Every single book is telling you how to live your life in a better way. The Torah, how to live your life the right way. There is a right way. There's a right way. There's the right foods to eat and the wrong foods to eat. I know why I have a stomachache right now. I know exactly what I did last night. That gave me the stomachache, right? Because there is right and there is damaging. There is good and there is bad. That's the reality in the world. And it doesn't. Things are always things are not black and white. Meaning they're gray all the time. You can have a person that does a lot of good things, but also is involved in a lot of bad things, right? It doesn't mean that it's one or the other. It's like I can eat well most of the time, and then like last night, eat something that sat out all day, right? And because I had a taiva for it, because I really wanted it, so I just ate it right before I went to bed. Right? So I make good choices in terms of my food. I'm just giving an example, right? But I also make some bad choices in terms of my food. Okay? So that means that although there's an ideal way of living our life and the right way to live our life, we have to accept the fact that we're human beings and we are going to dabble in things that are also create havoc. They create havoc to our systems. They create havoc to our minds. Okay? And they don't look like the type of things that create havoc. Like, for example, after October 7th, the biggest thing that was going on here, besides for all the crazy amount of chesed and all the amazing things that were happening here, there was a big emphasis on don't watch the videos. Don't watch the videos. All the videos that the terrorists put out of what they did, right? They had GoPro cameras and they filmed everything and they live streamed it. All the beheadings and all the stuff that they did here, right? And there was a big emphasis on don't watch the videos. I have a bunch of friends that watch every single one of those videos. Right? Today, 2 years later, you have people that survived the Nova Festival, that survived what happened there and all the yeshuvim around. You went, right? You guys went? Yeah. You went last.
No, now they're at school.
Oh, not with school yet? Okay. So, like all the yeshuvim around that were burned and that were all ransacked, all the stuff that happened there, right? And now only 2 years later, all of a sudden you have people like committing suicide, like it's called in Hebrew pitriot achei geshem. It's like mushrooms after the rain. They just come popping up. All of a sudden, 2 years later, people are showing a lot of trauma. A lot of trauma where during the war, They were like super on their game, like almost not feeling anything, right? Helping, doing, fighting battles. Soldiers that are coming back from duty, killing themselves. It's becoming like a trend. You're seeing it happen more and more as we get further away from the war, from October 7th. So the question is it could be that this thing that's causing me havoc in my system, I don't even realize that it's causing me havoc. I don't know that it's causing me havoc in the moment. For example, exposing ourselves to sick people or to their music. You don't realize it goes in. And eventually, there's a sickness spreads. Sickness is something that spreads. Mental illness is something that can spread. If, God forbid, we are around people that are mentally not stable for a certain amount of time, enough time, it will rub off. It can rub off, unless you're really like you have a support system and you're healthy and you're making sure that you're healthy, right? Because who you're around and the type of people that are there, so the healthier they are, it has an impression on you, and the sicker they are, it has an impression on you. Okay, so what's the point we're trying to make here? Here's the point. Before we get into all the most amazing Torah from the Talmud Devorah, has really high Torah in there, really high levels, really amazing interpersonal relationship advice, like crazy. It's a book that changed my life. But from experience, I'm telling you right now, if anybody would have coached me in the way that I'm coaching you guys right now, and would have told me from when I was much younger that I know you want to gobble up the world, I know you want to do all these things. I did a lot of things in my life, right? That required a lot of pushing and a lot of doing and a lot of hard work. But why? It's because I felt deeply in my gut that in order to like live your life right, you have to do chesed, you have to change the world, you have to do kiruv, you have to teach, you have to pray a lot, you have to do all these things, you have to then eventually turn into eating a certain way, exercising, breathing, all these things, right? I had a very strong, almost like a pressure to like, how am I wasting my life? How am I wasting my time? How am I wasting my days? If I'm just going to sit here and like schmooze with a friend for like 2 hours, it's nice, but like what did I walk away with? Right? And the most important thing I would tell you is that before any of the doing and any of the mitzvos and do the mitzvos while you're also understanding this. But the most important thing, the foundation to everything, in order to have a strong, healthy, successful life, the most important thing is to make sure that in here, you're balanced. It's called, in Hebrew, it's called menuchat nefesh. Menuchat nefesh is a menucha of your nefesh, a calming of your nefesh. If inside you're bubbling, inside you're worried, inside you're afraid, inside you're bugging out, inside you're stressed, inside you're a perfectionist, inside you're codependent, and you can't say no, or you don't know where your boundaries are. If inside all this stuff is going on, even if on the outside you're building an empire, your drive is coming from a place that is unbalanced and that eventually, God forbid, will kill you. Okay? So more than what to do and how to do, right, or what's right versus what's wrong, is to get this down pat. And what we're talking about right now is to create an internal environment where it's cool, where things come in. Let's say, for example, there's drama around you. You're a bunch of girls living together for a year. There's going to be drama, right? And like there's drama around you. There's toxicity sometimes. There's he said, she said. There's fighting. There's emotions. People get their feelings hurt a lot, and you're like, I didn't mean it. What's your problem? You did mean it. Like there's stuff that happens, right? You can't stay like this your whole life. We're people. We're emotional. We're women. We have our periods. We have our ups and downs. We have our things. Okay. So what's menuchas nefesh then? What's menuchas nefesh means that like no one should bother me, and I'm on a beach and I'm just like drinking my pina colada and like hanging out in my hammock and then just like chilling, and like the second someone says anything to stress me out, I'm like, no, go away because you're bothering my peace. No. Menuchas hanefesh is to know that life will always continuously throw things in your direction that you have to catch or that you have to drop, or but meaning it's not going to be smooth sailing at all. Okay? Life is not meant to be smooth sailing for any of us. But what it is how I manage the stress in the moment, how I manage the drama in the moment with myself. I'll give you an example. I have a very, very, very good friend, my best friend, she's a really big role model for me in an area where I stink, right? And she's really, really amazing, and that's like opposite of me, okay? And like at first I really didn't value this Mida in her at all. And today I really, like, I look up to her like so much. Like, for example, I'm like quick, I'm fire, I'm I used to live on adrenaline. Just give me adrenaline and I'm out and running. I built programs and I built things. I did a lot of things because of my adrenaline. Okay, and I loved living on adrenaline. But at the same time, while I was living on adrenaline, when I crashed, it was like long and hard. It was like a good 4 days of like no one will hear from me. I won't answer any phone calls. I won't reply back to anyone, right? Because when you're like this, after a while, you just like, you don't want. That's opposites. Also, it's extremes. So this friend is very the opposite of me. She takes her time. Nothing's an emergency. Everything is like at the right time, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, right? Like very like that. And I'd be like, stop it, like make things happen. You know, you have to like make things happen. You want things to happen, you got to make them happen. And recently, she kind of like fell on like hard times with Parnassa, and I watched her navigate months of not having money. Okay. And the main thing I learned from her is that whenever she got into a frenzy on the inside, which took a while, she wouldn't let the inside get frenzied up. She wouldn't let the inside get... Not at all. Never. That place, when you come from that place of like, that makes you mentally ill. You understand that? That makes your inner world chaotic. We want to stay away from reacting to life, even if it's a kind of moment, from that place. From the panic. Stay away. That's why everything that you learn, like, you missed the bus, Gamzul Tova. You know, you lost your wallet, Gamzul Tova. Why is the Torah always like taking you in that direction of emuna, bitachon? Because it's an immediate calm, like calms you down. It just takes down the panic. What happens to our nefesh, our being? It's our being. When we have a lot of these, like adrenaline, freakouts, right? Like not thinking. What happens to our nefesh over time? It's called Pizur HaNefesh, and that's what he talks about in the Sefer. Pizur HaNefesh, it means that the nefesh literally starts to get scattered. The mind starts to get scattered. All of a sudden, people that are very successful and that are healthy, forget about the very successful, healthy people that are doing well in life. I don't like the very successful thing anymore. I don't really believe in it anymore. I find that the very, very successful people have a lot of pain that they like use to become very, very successful. Let's just put it on the side for a second. People that are managing life well, that have good relationships, because the quality of your life is the quality of your relationships, right? They have good, solid relationships. They have a good, solid career. They have a nice home. They have their bills paid. They're working on themselves. They have like a balance in their life. Okay, those are the people that when life throws a lemon in their direction, right, the first thing they'll do is breathe through it. If they're connected to God and Torah, they'll have a session with Hashem where they'll talk to themselves and they say to themselves, they know over and over again that nothing happens in this world, not even a leaf falling off of a tree and covering that specific worm is accidental. So kal v'chomer, you getting into that cab or missing that bus or getting is all like literally made for you on your path. And only once you're going to have a bird's eye view of your life, which is only after 120, are you going to see how, oh my gosh, it's because I went there that I met that person, that years later I got married because of that connection, only later can you put together all the pieces. But in the heat of the moment, you can't know what's really good or bad. You want to get on that number 14 bus, right? Because you want to have your day working on your what you planned it to be. But then something else completely different happens. So how I catch that ball, how I experience that shift in my day in that time, it's going to determine the wellness of my being. The wellness of my being determines, okay, how everything in your life is. Everything. Who you're going to marry. Okay? I say I'm a life coach, so I work with couples a lot of times. Sorry everyone, I keep banging you. I work with couples a lot of times, and I see oftentimes they were like, how did we not see the red flags before we were married? We thought we were so perfect for each other. We thought we were like amazingly healthy for each other. It's because like attracts like. And without realizing it, your vibe, your vibration, which is your internal weather, it's your internal climate, is always going to be the driving force of your life for everything. I don't care how positive you are. I don't care what you want in your life. I don't care what your dreams are, your goals are. It's not important. What is in the driver's seat of your life is your vibe. It's your vibration. Every one of us has a vibration. We're all beings of energy. We all have a vibe. We all have a vibration. Sometimes a person can walk into a room and everyone just likes them without even realizing why. They have a good vibe. And sometimes a person walks into a room and even though they're beautiful and even though they're cute and even though they have money or even though whatever, there's something about them that's like, I want to stay away. I don't love this vibe. Okay, I can't put my finger on it. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's a vibe. What determines a person's vibe? Their internal climate, their internal garden, their internal weather. Your vibe will bring you to marry the person that's like you without even realizing that he's like you. In what way is he going to be like you? In terms of your internal vibe. You might present very differently on the outside. Very differently on the outside. But on the inside, it's copy-paste. It's exactly the same. Right? If your inside voices and thoughts, I want you to practice something for a second right now. I want you in your head to say your name in your head. Your full name, your last name also. You all did it? You all said your full names? Yeah? Say it again. Now I want you to scream it in your head. Loud. Loud. Got it? Now I want you to whisper it. Whisper your name in your head. That's how you control your thoughts. Period. It's very simple. You can introduce whatever you want to your brain, and when you say it in your mind, that's a thought. We have thoughts running 24/7 on repeat that came from God knows where, without even realizing that they're playing 24/7, whether it's I'm fat, I'm ugly, I don't have a good self-esteem, I'm never going to fill in the blank, I can't, I don't know how. We have these thoughts playing just 24/7 on repeat. And we accept them, we buy them, we listen to them, we accept them as part of our reality, we let them control our life. Your internal weather, you really have control over that steering wheel. You really have control over that steering wheel. How do you do that? How do you do that? First and foremost is to understand that it's not a matter of what you're doing in the world. It's not a matter of what you're doing. Okay, really, like I said before, like the most successful people, a lot of the most successful people that I know were mentally, emotionally, gone, done. So not well, so not stable, so not healthy. Okay, but they had a lot of money and they made a really good this, and they gave a lot of people jobs, and but it doesn't mean success. Doesn't mean health. Health means success. Health means success. So this is how we build. First of all, we build carefully. We build slowly. I wanted to just go back about my friend for a second and say that I watched her deal with money issues. Like I'm talking to you, like she would say to me, like first of all, she would never ever talk about it, but I would ask her because I knew. And I would ask her like, okay, what's your story? How much do you have in your bank account today? And she would say, I have 3 shekels in my pocket and 10 shekels in my account. And I know that if I were her, I know how badly I would bug out from that. I know I would probably be bugging out, taking any job, doing any whatever, freaking out, unhappy. And she is calm as a cucumber, like chill, happy. With her last 13 shekels, she'll like buy my son a prize. Seriously? Really? I would hold on to those 13 for like life. You know what I'm saying? And I saw her process it. I saw her the way she would process it. Anytime it would get to her a little bit, and the fear and the stress would get to her a little bit, like, oh my gosh, there's no money. Immediately, she would like calm her system down and fill up herself with a lot of emunah talk and only positive thoughts. I watched her do this for months. I'm telling you, months. And for a long time, I was like, if you're not going to help yourself, God's not going to help you. Right? And then I started getting codependent a little bit and freaking out and started creating resumes for her and sending it all over and using my protection to like protect people and contacts to like get her jobs and stuff. I was bugging out. She wasn't. Right? Baruch Hashem, it's like it was a nisayon, and clearly she passed it, and Hashem sent her jobs, and she's fine. Thank God. But it's not so much a matter of what you're doing, it's a matter of who you are. And who you are has everything to do with how you absorb life. How you absorb life. How are you absorbing it? How are you absorbing the ups and downs of it? The idea is not to get too extreme high or too extreme low. The extreme highs, where I was addicted to adrenaline and crowds and speaking to very, very large crowds and doing a lot of programs and creating a lot of courses and always being busy, and like I literally couldn't sit with a friend. I had one friend that introduced me to friendship at the age of 37. I had friends, but that wasn't the thing that kept me occupied. I had a mission. I was on a mission. I had one friend that said to me, Devorah, we're going to sit here and we're going to look each other in the eye, and we're going to talk. And we're going to drink coffee. And we're just going to talk about anything. And I was like, okay, well, what's the point? And she was like, the point is just to talk to a friend. Just there's no point. There is no point. Absolutely no point. Just for the sake of hanging out. Right? So the highs of adrenaline, or the lows of depression, sadness, anger, all that, highs and lows are unhealthy. The idea is to be as balanced as possible in your life. Okay? The idea is to stay here in the middle. And when you're able to stay balanced in your emotions, okay? You're able to stay balanced in your emotions, then you can get a lot further. You can get a lot further. A lot further. Okay? So before we start learning any new midos and any new understandings about life and what to do and how to act and how to respond and all these things, the most important thing I'm teaching you this year, girls, is menuchas hanefesh. Your nefesh is the most valuable thing you have in your life. More than your husband, more than your kids, more than your friends, more than what you do, more than your mitzvah observance. Your nefesh is the most important thing you have in your life. And when there's menuchas hanefesh, meaning your thoughts are not killing you, your fears are not killing you, your stresses are not killing you, your contradictions are not killing you. You're able to in here keep a healthy weather. It's almost like when you walk into your house. You walk into your house. What's the difference between a stable house and an unstable house, a dysfunctional house? A dysfunctional house is that the adults in that house do not know how to deal with life. And everything makes them lose it, or crumble, or coil up, or run away. Right? The reactions are very extreme. What's the difference between a dysfunctional home and a healthy home? The healthy home is that stresses come, diseases come, kids that are troublesome come. Life throws lemons, but there is an incessant need and focus on keeping the living room organized, and there's food on meaning there's a normalcy during the pain, during the stress. There's still a normalcy. There's still clean clothes. There's still food in the refrigerator. It doesn't go all out the window. It's all not completely dysfunctional, even though there's a problem. Your nefesh is your living room, it's your kitchen, it's your room, it's your everything. And the goal is not to let life get you running around like a chicken without a head, or have you so overwhelmed or so stressed out or so scared or so dark in your darkness and your worries and your fears and your pain that you can't function. Because then there's dysfunction. Okay? We are all going to have problems. We're all going to go through things. We're all going to experience trauma if we haven't already. All of us, on a personal level, on a communal level, as a Jewish people. That's like our DNA trauma. But what makes the Jewish people so resilient and so incredible and so amazing is that we do well with dysfunction. We rebuild immediately. We jump back. We went through the Holocaust, 6 years of like just destroying us and hunting us down and killing us and burning us and all these things. We got the land of Israel, like right when we came out of the Holocaust, we got the keys to the land of Israel. Immediately we start building. Immediately we start moving into function, creating a functioning life for ourselves. Different from the Arabs, where they can get like the most incredible spaces and greenhouses and all that, and then they make everything dysfunctional. They destroy everything. Right? The idea is to learn literally how to make lemonade from lemon. And it's not just, okay, let me look at the positive of this. But it really is to try that whatever comes our way, to stay in here, to stay as balanced as possible. How do we do that? Through the Torah. Meaning the more connected you are to Emunah and Bitachon, the more you can do that. The less connected you are to Emunah and Bitachon, and the more connected you are to Kochi V'otzim Biyadi, which means I'll figure it out, I'll send the resume, I'll get the job. You're supposed to put one foot in front of the next, and you're supposed to put out effort in this world. But when you think it's on my shoulders, only on my shoulders, I have to figure this, I have to sort this out, it's on me. My parents' dysfunction is on me. My childhood trauma is on me. All this stuff is on me, that it creates such a weight that you can't be healthy. That's why Emunah and Bitachon literally, Emunah and Bitachon is the Pepto-Bismol. It is the calming effect. The more you dabble in it, the more you practice it, from missing your bus by 5 minutes, saying thank you Hashem, 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 to missing your flight, God forbid, okay? To God, whatever, to other things, to divorce, to different things in life, to children being sick, to different things, big things in life, right? The more you're able to take life and have an emunah and bitachon that Hashem is really running the show for you and everything is for your best and it's all working out in your best. Chazal say that like you're looking for a quarter and you put your hand in your pocket and you come out with a dime. And you say, okay, let me continue looking for my quarter, and you come out with a penny, and then you put your hand back in your pocket and you come out with a nickel. Every time you come out with a different coin, you're looking for a quarter. Every single one of those times that you put your hand in your pocket and you come out with a different coin, you get kapara for. You know what kapara means? Kapara means that one of your averos, or two of your averos, or three of your averos are deleted. Anytime you ever go through any kind of inconvenience, or struggle or then a problem or then, God forbid, a trauma or a tragedy, any time you suffer on any kind of level, even if it's just, I just missed the bus, right? That is an eraser. That is an eraser of chataim averos on your neshama. It deletes averos. Any single time Hashem puts you in an inconvenient position where you're like, oh, I wish I would have, but I didn't. And there's a little bit of like a, basa, right? Chaval. Chazal say this. Your averos are deleted. So if you go through something, God forbid, big, okay, or there's a drama, or there's a stress, or whatever, and you're able to keep, you're still going to deal with it. You're not avoiding it. You're not running away. You're not going to drugs and alcohol. You're not going to your boyfriend's house. You're not running away from Israel. You're not running away from your problems. You're going to deal with them, but you're going to come from a not stressed out, bugging out, panic kind of place. Okay? That's the idea. The idea is that we wanna really, 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 really make sure our nefesh is safe. So therefore, seeing certain things, being around certain people, taking life in a very stressful kind of way, or being a perfectionist, or codependent, or the list goes on, is a sure way to not be stable. And when I'm not stable, I can be the most talented, the most gifted, the most beautiful, the most wealthy. I can't get far in life. I won't be able to get far in life. Okay. I want to read something to you from the Sefer here. This is Sfat Chaim. And he talks about Menuchas HaNefesh. He brings it down from the Saba Mikam, from the Saba from Kelm, and he talks about how Menuchas HaNefesh is, the origin of it is Shabbos. Talks about people that don't keep Shabbos and people that do keep Shabbos. It says that that Shabbos came into the world and it created like a shlemut, created a completion. When you're complete, you're calm. When you're complete, you're calm. What does complete mean? Meaning, you need a job, you got a job? You're calm. You need right? Hopefully when you're looking for a job, you're also calm. But when your needs are met, your stomach is fed, right? There's a calmness that comes from it. Okay? You found your bashert. There's a calmness that comes from it. Okay? So he says that when Klal Yisrael got Shabbos, it was almost like it completed the puzzle, and then they were able to have a real sense of calm inside. What does Shabbos do? Even people that are Shomer Shabbos, again, when I'm Shomer Shabbos, when I dabble in Shabbos, when I get myself immersed in Shabbos, when I keep Shabbos, what am I doing? I'm creating a sense of peace inside of me, a midah called Shalom inside of me, that only has a place in me. Meaning the people that do not keep Shabbos can't get to a certain level of peace. Can't. An internal peace. Can't. No matter how peaceful and zen they are. No matter how much they meditate. Because what Shabbos brings is menucha. Menucha is calm. Now when I say menucha, I'm talking about an energy called menucha. It's a reality in the world. It's a reality. Some people have menucha, and some people don't have menucha. On Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we say, Mi Yaser, Mi Yeshalev. We talk about who are all the people that are going to be in the category of a tzaddik and the category of a rasha. Tzaddik is who is going to be the people that are going to be wealthy, they're going to live a long life, that they're going to be happy, they're going to be peaceful, versus the people that are, God forbid, going to die. They're going to be, God forbid, from either fire or stone or animals, or right. We talk about, and then it says at the end, tshuva tefillah tzedakah ma'arvir nesroas hagazira, right? One of those passages there says, Mi ityaser v'mi ishalev. Who is going to be running around like a chicken without a head? Who is going to be someone that's stressed out? Who is going to be someone that has no peace of mind? And who's going to be a person that does have peace of mind? Now, one of the things that he talks about in this chapter, girls, if you could just not talk. One of the things that he talks about in this chapter is how not having peace creates a scatter. It's called Pizur HaNefesh. Pizur HaNefesh, and this is something that our generation has to, people that are interested in real mental health and real healing have to become aware of this. The more stimulated you are, the less menucha you have. Which means, the more you need, the example that comes to mind is like my son, when he has ADD, really hardcore ADD, and he can't just watch on one screen. He has to play a video game and watch on another screen. So he's on two screens at once. Right? That creates pizur nefesh. And we're dealing with it slowly, because also if you take it away, that's also going to create panic. So pizur nefesh, what's pizur nefesh? When there's too many files opened. Too many files opened. How do you get to menuchas nefesh? When now you're in class. Now you're listening to the teacher. You're not like in class, but at the same time eating, but at the same time on your phone trying to close something up with someone, and at the same time thinking about whatever your room that you forgot to turn something on, and that's pizur nefesh. You're driving your car. You're going from point A to point B. You're driving. Right? Where you don't cross lanes in your brain all the time. Where it's not let me multitask 24/7. Multitasking is cool, but it's not very healthy all the time at all. According to what we're learning here, staying in your lane is a big deal. He says when at the end of Shmoneh Esrei, when it says Oseh Shalom b'mromav, that there's peace up there in heaven. It says, how is there peace up there in heaven if you have all these angels, and each angel is responsible for something else? One angel is responsible for getting you to sin, and the other angel is responsible for, all the beauty and goodness in the world. And they're both living side by side in Shemaim. And they all have very different callings. He says, angel, that we have Michael and Gabriel, right? Michael is in charge of, he comes from water, he comes from the water sign, and his whole thing is peace. And Gabriel, his whole shorish is fire, it's din. It's judgment. Okay? So how do they live side by side with each other? It says because in Shemaim, nobody gets into anybody else's business. That's what he says. No one gets into anybody else's business. Which means that the Malach Gabriel and the Malach Michael, even though they can be on missions together, no one tells anyone how to live their life. Now, if you have a question, ask me a question. It's a good time to ask a question.
I have a question about the music.
Okay, but about this thing, meaning, where is there peace? Oseh Shalom b'mromav. How come there's peace up on top? There's peace up in heaven because the malachim there, the people that are actually the beings that are there that take up space there, they don't get into each other's lanes. There's no judgment. There's no shaming. There's no you should be more like me. A big part of staying whole is to stay focused on where you are in your life right now. Your job right now in your life is to be a seminary girl, is to come here to learn, to evolve, to meet important people, amazing people. Your job in your life right now is to do X. Focus on that. What does fear and worry come and tell you? But what's going to be after seminary? But where am I going to go if this doesn't work out? But what's going to happen if that doesn't work out? What's going to be if this person leaves me? Right? They constantly, those midos, the fear, the anxiety, that puts you in a state of constant pizur hanefesh, a scattering of the nefesh. You can't stay focused on where you can't learn a good piece of Torah. You can't sit here and try to break your teeth on something and really get it if you're at the same time running a business and scared that you're going to lose your money and scared you're going to. It's not happening. Meaning the healthiest way to have a successful life and have a good life is to have menuchas nefesh.
What's the other one?
Pizur hanefesh. Pei, Yud, Zayin, Vav, Resh. A scattering of the mind. If you're too many filing cabinets are open, Too many things are on your mind at the same time. You're in too many places. You're running on adrenaline. And I used to live like that. I lived with 700 filing. I lived with, and the more they were open, the more files were open, the more adrenaline I had. And I loved the adrenaline. So I made sure to keep opening up more files. And when, it was about 7 years ago, I started really putting a focus on my healing and on my well-being, because I was doing a lot of things, but I was also not present with my kids, not present with myself, not present. I was not present because I had too much going on, right? 7 years ago when I started doing this work, like, it totally changed my life. It also changed my energy. There was never a chance that I could sit here and talk this slow and talk this calm. It also has to do with the fact that my stomach is burning right now, Baruch Hashem. But that also has to do with the slowness. But it was never, if I walked into a room and I had to teach a group like you, there was never a chance that I would walk into a room and not leave every single one of you crying, or not leave every single one of you like inspired to death, or not, right? Because there was a crazy engine that was burning, that kept on burning, and it wasn't over. It never ended. Right? So in this world, people are gifted. I got so much amazing feedback when I was unhealthy versus when I was healthier. The second I started getting healthier and healing and really getting calm and focused on my life and like really doing things in order and not like living on adrenaline and needing that drug so badly and all of that, the second I started getting more, the fans went away and the lights went away. Why? Because people are rewarded in this world for how much they accomplish. No one knows what they're actually paying with. No one knows what they're actually doing in order to accomplish that. And no one knows also why they're accomplishing all those things. Because a big part of the reason why I did all those things is because it kept the likes coming in, and it kept the compliments coming in, and it kept the attention coming in. So what we're learning here, what we're understanding here, is that to get further in life and to get to live a healthy life is not so much what you're doing, but it's who you are. And who you are has everything to do with, okay, how you absorb. How you absorb has everything to do with how much Torah you learn, honestly. Because the Torah will give it to you from every angle in the world, no matter what subject you're learning in Torah. You're going to get it everywhere. God runs the show. And the more you're entrenched in those concepts and those ideas, the healthier you get. If you live it, not if you just know it. If you live it. There are a lot of very religious people that we know that know all the Torah, but they're running around like stealing and cheating and doing things that they shouldn't be. Because their nefesh is in so much pain. Their nefesh is broken. They know a lot of stuff, but their nefesh is broken. Okay? The idea is to know, v'yadata v'ashivota. Know and practice. You have a struggle in your life, it's very nice that you sit here for 8 hours a day studying Torah. You have a struggle in your life, you missed the bus, you got a paper cut, how are you going to handle it? That's where you get measured. That's what makes you you. That's what's going to make you into the healthiest version of you and the best version of you. How you handle it. How you handle it has everything to do with your level of emunah and bitachon. How aware you are that God is involved with every single part of your life. Every single piece of your life. Literally. And He got in your way right now, and He got in your face right now, and He took that away from you right now, because it's going to make the stronger, better version of you come to the forefront if you let it. That's why being a victim in life is never helpful for anyone, even the victims, ever. Ever. Because I can't learn from what I'm going through. I can't step up. I can't step up to the plate. I can't try again. Because I'm too busy licking my wounds. How could this happen to me? How could they have done it to me? How could they have acted that way to me after everything I did for them? Why did I receive this? Why did God give this to me? How come me? Why me? Sometimes a person has to get stuck there for a while until they get sick and tired of being a victim and they want to take their life back. So really, what we're learning here is something really, really important. Okay? Watch your health. Watch your reactions. Things will happen. Take a deep breath. Trust God that everything He does for you is for you and in your best interest. It's not to you, but it's for you. Okay? Learn to think before you act, especially if you're like me. How do you say it in English? Paziz. Like when you just do things without even thinking about them.
Drive?
What?
Drive?
No, like when you do things that... What? Impulsive. Class is over. Have a great day, girls.
Thank you.
You're welcome.